welcome back. We're talking about priorities for the Ontario government with Minister Prabmeet Sarkaria, who is a Treasury Board President. Minister, we have just suffered through the longest and harshest lockdowns in North America. Anything the government, in hindsight, would have done differently?
Well, Jocelyn, I think one of the toughest challenges with COVID was that there really was no playbook for a situation like this. I think when we look back at March of 2020 and we see, the governments, various governments, previous governments didn't do enough to prepare us for this situation. So we set out in our plan to stay open that we released a couple of weeks ago, an ambitious plan, a plan that we know that if we follow, we need to build that healthcare capacity across the province. We didn't have enough healthcare capacity. We built uploaded 3,100 new beds in the last 2 years. And we're also going to build another 3,000 new hospital beds over the next 10 years. It's a $30 billion commitment. I think we need to make sure we have hospital beds, we have the capacity, and then we have the health human resources, because that's what it really comes down to when we see some of these pandemics. So the previous Liberal government refused to invest in the needed healthcare infrastructure that we needed to get this province moving forward. But we're making sure that we rectify that and we get the investments that are needed and build that capacity. Not only just in the GTA, but across the province, because we need to deliver equitable healthcare across all of Ontario. And that's going to be one of the keys to delivering, a strong economy going forward as well. And also, from a health human resources, making sure we have enough doctors, nurses, healthcare professionals to deal with, to staff those beds as well. And so we've laid out a plan that will make sure that we're never in a situation like we were March of 2020.
Yeah, I'm so happy that we've been able to maintain, keeping open, keeping companies at work and keep people employed. So we need to see more of that. And I'm happy that we seem to be on the right track now. So, Minister, you're going into election mode. Why don't you talk to us about your pitch for another term in office? Love to hear what your thoughts on this are.
Well, thank you very much for that opportunity. And I think there, has never been a more important time in Ontario's history as we look to see what our government wants to do versus the opposition. Premier Doug Ford and our government want to get more high-paying jobs, investments into Ontario. We want to create the conditions for more economic growth. We want lower taxes. We want to have better jobs in the province, and we want to build infrastructure. Right now, we have $140 billion worth of infrastructure projects over the next 10 years that our government wants to get the shovels in the ground. You have two opposition parties that are vehemently opposed to, new highways that we want to build, whether it be the Highway 413, the Brampton bypass. We've invested in public infrastructure like no one has ever invested in before. $30 billion subway projects. We're the government that gets shovels in the ground. We're the government that gets the job done, because we know these infrastructure investments are so important to getting good paying jobs into Ontario, and to also make sure that we keep the cost of living low in the province of Ontario. There's only one government that's going to cut taxes. There's only one government that's going to keep affordability that is impacting so many people across Ontario at the forefront, and that's the Ontario PC government. And I believe that people will see that on June 2nd when they compare the alternative, Premier Doug Ford's leadership, his leadership on the economy, his vision to build this province is in stark contrast to what the Liberal and NDP government wants to do, which is take us back to higher taxes, less opportunity for hardworking Ontarians across the province. So we're going to get it done, and we're going to start building this province and get the much needed jobs we need right here in Ontario.
Good stuff. So, Minister, in the 30 seconds we have left, give us your vision for the economy in Ontario over the next 24 months.
We want to see more economic growth. We want to see, any international company that wants to invest. We want to make sure that they're looking at Ontario. We want high-paying jobs. We've got the best. We've got the most highly skilled. We've got the best labor force, and we're going to continue to. We still have work to do on this. Create the environment so that job creators have the opportunity to expand their operation, build better jobs here in Ontario, and really create high-paying jobs. So we want to see that happen in Ontario, and we're confident we'll get that done under Premier Doug Ford's leadership.